Hello class, welcome to this tutorial on CorelDRAW. In the previous video, we just introduced to the environment. So I will be focusing today on the tool menu or the toolbox on the left hand side. Actually, this is the engine of CorelDRAW. These are the different tools that you'll be using to perform or to draw and design several of the things you will be doing in CorelDRAW. We may not be doing any particular designing at the moment, but by the time we have seen what each of these tools can do, you can then go ahead and by yourself you try to design something using each of them. So, of course, this is the menu bar, and we'll say these are property bars. Depending on the tool you select, that will determine what you see on the property bar. So, on the top of the toolbox is what we call the select or the pick tool. Very, very handy and very, very useful. Make use of it in selecting each of the objects on your design window. So, the pick tool is very important. Then after the pick tool is what we call the shape tool. There are different. We have the shape tool, we have the knife tool, we have the eraser tool, and so on and so forth. We will not really be touching all the tool items because of the time, because they are much, but I will just talk about the basic ones. So before I will go to the pick tool, I would like to, because we need an object for you to work with this. You cannot cut what does not exist, you cannot erase what does not exist, you cannot also shape what you don't have. So before you do that, there must be an object on your working environment. Then after the shape tool is the hand tool. The hand tool is for moving your environment around. Maybe sometimes you may want to move it away so that you can draw anywhere, but like I said, it is only what is in this square box or this rectangle box that is printable, but everywhere on the screen you can use for your work. So you can use other places to design. When you are done with your designing, you can now place them into your target design object. So you can use your hand to move. Then you use your zoom tool. Use your zoom tool to increase your space. Increase your space so that you can see what you are doing. And use your zoom tool to do that. If you select a portion of your object, you can see more of it. So, but before I go there, let me go to rectangle tool. We have rectangle tool for drawing shapes, a rectangle shape. So, what will zoom tool do for you? I can now zoom a portion of this. See? If I want to zoom further, I select. I want to zoom further, I select. So the more I select it, the more it's zoomed. I come here too and reduce it and say to fit. Want it to fit to the screen, then say 100%. So depending on, you can from here select percentage. You can use here to zoom a particular item you are interested in viewing or giving more view. Want to see more of it. So that's for rectangle and zoom. So your pick tool is for selecting. Remember, if you left click, you are coloring the object, and when you right click, you are coloring the outer line of the object. So let me zoom now so you can see the outer line of this object and the color. You can see it is blue. So if I want to color the outer line, I will right click. See, I right click now. The outer line is now red. If I left click, I am coloring the body. While right click is the outer body of the. So I can zoom down again 300%. So that is one thing. That's the zoom for you. Then let's still go back to our pick tool, okay? Then at this point now, your shape tool, you can now use your shape tool to work on this. For instance, I want to round the column, the border of my. So let me zoom it. Let me zoom it further. Good. So if I want to shaping this, I am using the shape tool. I'm using the shape tool. So now it's no longer a block square with the sharp edges. It's now a rounded rectangle. I did that with the aid of the pick tool. When you select it, this box, if you drag it closer towards the edge, you are reducing the curve. If it forms only one, it just forms a sharp edge. If you drag it, you are separating it. If you are separating it, you are rounding it. You have this, but when you make them meet, you make them meet. I'm finding it difficult. Okay, sorry. You make them meet. It returns to the. Then I'll right click and say convert to curve. I'm still with my shape tool. I'll come here, I'll say convert to curve. Right click. If I say convert to curve, you can see that it will give me more power to work with this object now. I can increase one side. I can play with it. Remember, I said convert to curve. If I double click, I get a point. If I double click, I get a point from where I can actually make. Then I can come here, left click. I said to curve. Right click rather, not left click. And come and right click a point and say to curve. When I say to curve, I have some points where I can drag it from. So I'm dragging it up. See this line? I'll drag it up. It's forming a shape. Depending on what you are designing. Remember? Depending on what you are designing. So you can use the shape tool to maneuver your objects. You can use it to reshape your object depending on what you want to do. For here, I can say to curve. At this straight line, I will right click and say to curve. If I want to curve it, maybe I want to curve it inside. I want to make this one look like an X. So depending, you just play with them. So like I told you, there are too many things. So this is the shape tool. Then after that, you have the knife tool. Of course, knife is for cutting things. So I want to cut this thing into two. I start from here, depending on how straight my hand is. I have cut these items. These two objects are now, I've broken them into two. I've broken this object into two. So that is a knife tool for you. At that point, you can still use your pick tool. your shape tool to begin to work on each of the cuts as you wish. Sorry, as you wish. You can use your shape tool. Then, of course, the last one I will work on before I move to the next tool is the eraser tool. The eraser tool is to clean. So you can also use cleaning to get your desired shape. And clean. Once you are done with your cleaning, it becomes a new shape. So you can see. So these are, I've just looked at the shape tool, the knife tool, and the eraser tool. I think yes, the file can go with these ones. Let me just delete these objects that we just did. Let me delete them. Okay. Let me bring back my screen. 100. Then now, the next tool is all dimension tool. I mean, there are different tools. One of them is the freehand tool. We have the Bezier tool. We have artistic media tool. We have the pen tool. We have the polyline tool, and so on and so forth. So we'll just look at a few of them. Freehand tool is for you to draw. If your hand is straight enough, you can use it to draw whatever you want. To draw the shape of a human head. Good. There's the head. So that was freehand tool. You can draw as if you are using a pencil to draw with your freehand tool. Then after that, we have the Bezier tool. Bezier tool is also for drawing, that is one point at a time. As you click what you are trying to draw, you are forming a join. Just hold, click, just as you are clicking until you get back to where you started from. See the shape. See, the shape will not change. And that means you want to close. Transform the shape. So I can draw another one from here to here, from here. I close. That is the Bezier tool. So color. That's the Bezier tool. I use it to draw objects one click at a time. One click at a time. One click at a time. If you want to terminate it, you double click. Assuming you don't want to take it back to the starting point. One click at a time. Good. That's clicked. Okay, you can't even, you must terminate at the beginning point. So that's the Bezier tool. Then the artistic media tool. That's a very nice one. What does this one give you? Say I drew something, it turns to grasses. Let's come back here. Something seems to be missing. My property window seems to have closed. There's my property window. My property window seems to have closed. Okay, my property window. So let me go back to that artistic tool. Okay, you see, when I draw, what is coming up is grasses. It's because of this point. Artistic tool, I can select what I want to come up when I draw. Maybe I want to draw this now, so whatever I now draw changes to that. Whatever I draw changes to this, changes to this. So you can also come back and change to another thing, bubbles. Whatever I draw changes to bubbles. Okay, this is because under the artistic media tool, I selected sprayer. Sprayer is the one doing this. There are other artistic media tools. We have the pressure, and I use pressure. See what pressure gives me. If I draw, it gives me a pipeline. It gives me a pipeline. If I select calligraphic, see what it gives me. Similar to this. Similar to this. Then after that, I have the brush. See what the brush gives me. See what the brush gives me. Then I can also select what the brush gives. I want the brush to give me something like arrow. Okay, I draw my brush, it turns to arrow. I draw my brush, it turns to arrow. I draw my brush, it turns to arrow. Depending on what I want it to give you bubble. Draw my brush, it turns to this. So this for the brush. We now have the preset. The preset, you can select any of this depending on the shape you want. Depending on the shape you want. So this, remember, these are just tools. It is when you now have what you want to design that you know whether they will come handy. So that you just know what they do. So this is for artistic media. Remember, the one that was giving us grasses and so was the sprayer. So under spray, you go back and select what you want to spray. Like we have grasses now. If I draw, it gives me grasses. It gives me grasses. It gives me grasses. So you can use this to form the background of a field. Alright, that's for the Pressure tool. That's for the artistic media tool. For the pen tool, okay, let me just scroll down so that I will have space. Pen tool, more like the Bezier tool. You're also getting a line, 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 getting a line. You can close it. So unlike the Bezier tool, you can draw, you must not close. So when you double click, that one terminates. You can start all over again, depending on what you are doing. Use it to draw a shape. Okay, so now I want to draw a heart. So can use it to draw depending on what you want. That's for the pen tool. They will have the polyline tool. Polyline tool. What does it do? Polyline tool. Just like the other ones. You can use it to draw as you wish. You can use it to also draw straight line. one click is a line. So this one can allow you to draw straight lines, click by click. If you want to now draw, you can hold the left mouse key and now draw the shape yourself. But once you leave the mouse, you are drawing one line at a time. If you are using click, you are drawing one line at a time. That's your polyline tool. Close it. You also need to close it from where you started for the polyline tool. So let's drop it. We still have much to do. I think I will just end this one here. Then smart drawing. Call this smart drawing. Smart drawing, what it does is that shape recognition level, you can make it maybe high shape recognition level. If I draw something like this, it will now know I want to draw a triangle. It will draw it for me. If I draw something that looks like circle, to recognize it and give me shape depending on how round my circle is. It gives me a circle. If I have something that looks like this, to be able to interpret, if I draw a square, to be able to, so that's what it calls smart drawing. You will draw something, it will imagine what, so the level of recognition of the shape and smart smoothing level, you can also increase it, maybe highest, the recognition level highest, so it depends on how it's able to now interpret your shape and give you what you are looking for. It becomes smart. So when you draw something with freehand, smart drawing tool will give you, we perfect it for you. So if that's the idea, you draw a shape, then it will now perfect it for you. You draw something, even though it's not very clean, to be able to perfect it for you. That's smart drawing. Then of course we'll have the rectangle box, the rectangle tool we have used. This is the circle. Okay, one thing about the rectangle, let me delete some of the things we have done so far. You can select many of them and delete. I will select many of them and also delete, but I'll have space for more demonstrations. Select and delete. Let me go back. Select multiple things and delete. More space. Select and delete. Okay. I have a clean board now. So let me continue. A rectangle. If you want to draw a rectangle, you will now ask, where is the tool for drawing a square? To draw a square, you hold your control key while you are drawing the rectangle. It will be making it a square. Once you hold that the control key and you are drawing a rectangle, it turns to a square. It turns to a square. But when you don't hold the control key, you are drawing a rectangle. But when you hold the control key, you are drawing a square. Same thing applies to circle. You can draw over, but when you want to draw a perfect circle, you hold down your control key. Whatever you are doing is a perfect circle. Hold down the control key, you are drawing a perfect square circle. Okay? Then you can also duplicate what you drew. By copy and paste, of course, Ctrl C is copy, Ctrl V is paste. Control C, Control C, Control V. It copies and pastes. You won't see it until you remove it. You won't see. If you copy and paste, you won't see. For instance, if I do Control C and I've done Control V, I have copied. I won't see it until I move away. I will now know that. So just take a look. If I do Control C and do Control V, you observe the object becomes a bit thickened to show you that it is duplicated. Then one. Then if you want to do also duplicate, you can just say Control D. If you do Control D, a new shape will come, and that one you will see because it will move away from the original. Control D. It moves you away from the original. Control D. Then on your keyboard, if you have a keyboard that have the plus symbol, especially those keyboards that have a separate key that looks like a calculator key. I mean, yeah, that looks like a calculator key where you have your num lock. Once you press plus, that object that is selected is duplicated. I have pressed plus now. This guy was duplicated. If I press plus again, I've pressed the plus symbol, it has been duplicated. So you can use copy and paste to duplicate an object. You can use plus to duplicate an object. You can also use Control D to duplicate an object. Apart from Control D, the other ones, when you duplicate, it will still be on the original position of what you are duplicating. You will not notice it until you move it. But for Control D allows you to move the object about. The Control D will move the object. Once you do that, say Control D, it moves the copied object away from the one you are copying. So that is it about these ones. You can do it to every other object you draw. I just decided to talk about it while drawing this object circles. Then the other tools we have before that, let me just delete some of this so that I'll have space. There are some things to learn. Okay, maybe after I've done this one, I'll also teach one or two things again. There are so much to learn in CorelDRAW. CorelDRAW is a very rich application software for your graphics. So this is what we call graph paper. When you want to draw graph paper, it's just like drawing a table. How many columns and how many rows? So here you see where you specify. It's 10 columns and 1 row. So you can increase the row, maybe 10 to 5. So when I draw, I have an object, a graph of 10 by 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I want another one, I can reduce it. Okay, maybe 1 column and 5 rows. 1 column and 5 rows. 1 column and 5 rows. Then maybe 1 row and 10 columns. 1 row, 10 columns. So you can draw a table or graph that you specify the number of rows and the number of columns. Then the next thing you can also do is a polygon. A polygon has multiple sides. This is what we call I think how many sides? 8 is octagon. You can change the number of sides. So this is now this is a pentagon, 5 sides. So depending, then one thing you can also do, haven't done that, you can convert this to something that is very interesting. You see this spot, I can come here and pick one of these spots. No, I didn't get it. Sorry, I forgot that I need to use my pick tool. my pick tool. When I use my pick tool, I can get another shape out of that with my pick tool. So let me do another one, and let me draw maybe, okay, I'll use my pick tool and convert it to something else. I'll take it up and also convert it to something else this way. It must not just be a perfect star. It can also be something, yeah. So you can do that. Maybe what you want is a star. You want it a star, it gives you. Wanted this polygon, it gives you. Number of points, you specify that I've just done before. So that is about the polygon. Then the spiral. In spiral, this shape you get, you provide a number of spirals. I will reduce it to 4 when I draw, see what it looks like. I reduce it to 2 when I draw, see what it looks like. So I can increase it to 14 if I draw, see what it looks like. So drawing spirals. Okay. The other shape, the other items is these are what we call the basic shapes. When you select the basic shape, you ask which one is it drawing. You come here and pick what you want to draw. I want to draw a right angle triangle. The tool you pick is what you draw. I want to draw the smiley face. The tool you pick here is what you draw. I want to draw a heart. Okay, that is it for the. Then you can also draw arrows and shapes. Arrow shapes. It is here that you also specify the type of arrow you want to draw. You want this kind of arrow. Come here. I want this kind of arrow. So you specify the type. You can also specify whether you want to draw it with the broken lines. Yeah. Okay, I'm got a line. Okay, I think that is not. It's not forcing that to happen. Okay, just take note. This is the shape. Any shape you want to draw. These are under the arrows. Then this. For different flow charting symbols, you can have them depending on the shape. So you have the star symbol too. What type of star do you want to draw? The 4-sided star. You can select more. The 5-sided star. Is it something like this? These are different shapes you can get from here. Then finally is the what we call the speech shapes or common space shapes, and decide what you want. What we call colored shapes. Then I will do okay, let me do, I will soon be ending this tutorial. Just want us to see the different tools and what they can do, and you can use it to achieve your design. Use it to achieve your designs. What's happening? Our object seems to have freezed. It's okay. Okay, we have deleted since my system. It's been deleted since my system is hanging, that's why. So, let's go to text. Want to type. Write characters, so many things you can do here. This will really take us some time. Okay, I am good. You can change the font as you want, depending on the font you want. You can change your font, default artistic. Select what you want. Right, then this is the font size. Can bold it, can italize it, can underline it. All these are the possible things, so we can zoom the font. And zoom it. We can color the font and as well color the outline of the font. So there are under text, you can do some basic things with font, spell checker and all that. You can change the case, change case to lowercase and good, and do that. Then okay, we're going to do a little something beautiful now, something beautiful. Let me zoom down. I want to draw something like a circle. Let me continue with my write-up. I am good and very happy. Let me convert everything back to, of course, let me change the case. Change case, I want everything to be lowercase. Okay, then let me increase this guy. Just follow me. I want this text to wrap around this circle. I'll have to select the two of them. I'll go to text. I'll say fit text to part. What did you see? The text is now surrounding the circle. As you can see, is tight to it, so I can make it leave the circle a bit. I think you have seen all these kind of write-ups on logos and badges. You can choose how you want it to be. You can choose how you want it to be. You can choose how you want it to be. You can choose how you want it to be. Inside. Good. What you choose, and one good thing you do with test, you can wrap test around an object. Now you have wrapped these tests. Two of them are now one object. Two of them are one object. But as when you want to separate them, you go to arrange, say break test apart. When you say break test apart, you have separated them now. The test can be on its own, while the circle is on its own. Break test apart. I went to arrange, I selected break test apart. Okay? And you can also straighten this line back. Straighten test. So, when you don't want it to be in that shape again, go back to test and say straight test. Straight test. This is the one we used to fit to part. Fit to part was what we used. Test. Okay, you have to select the two. Fit to test, fit to part. Okay. Undo. Fit to part. You select the part too. You must not select the two. Assuming I have another shape. Let me undo. Undo it. And I drew another shape. And I said fit to part. I specify where to fit it to. So that's what you can do with test. Then some other things can also do with test. Let me write test. Good. Goodness. Okay. I'm mistakenly. Okay, let me just using my changes myself. Goodness. Let me zoom it, and then there are some wonderful things we can do here. Interactive contour tool. This does not give me what I want. Let me control Z first. First of all, let me do something. Let me duplicate it. Let me duplicate this. Probably I need to duplicate it. Plus, I have duplicated it. Maybe I'll have to give one color and give one another color. Then I may use this. Okay, this will not give me. Okay, sorry. I'm sorry. Very sorry. This I need this one I need to work with for now. Where I need to great. So this is the interactive blend tool. That's what I used to blend two tests into one. I need to blend two tests into one. Let me repeat what I did again. Control Z. I have two tests. Okay. I'll select the interactive blend tool from one to the other. From one of the tests to the other, I get an interactive tool. I right click the contours. We have a line. I left click, depending on what you are doing. So, for this this other guy. Let me see how it goes. Let me just type a new thing. Ken. I want to do what I want it to give me. Why? Interactive contour tool. Yeah. Maybe I'm getting something very, I'm not getting it right. Interactive drop shadow. This one is for shadow. Something is happening funnily here. Okay. Alright, I think come back, start from where you want the shadow to start. Good. Let me see, take a second chance on this other two. Interactive this can even make the shadow to be behind. That's great, depending on how you want it. Start from one point and drag to the other point. Get your shadow. I'm not interested in this guy. Okay, alright, let me see. Okay, now let me just start by coloring it. Let me color it so that I should be able to see the changes that are happening now. Interactive contour tool. Select from here. Drag. Okay. So when I can reshape. So let me zoom it further. So you can see the contour. That's actually the interactive contour tool. It was because it was black all through before. That was why nothing was showing. Because it was black all through, nothing was showing. Now that the color came out, I gave it a separate color. That's why we're able to see what it was doing. I'm sorry for that delay in trying to figure out what happened. So that was just for interactive. So you have shadow, I've done shadow. This one is for having a test. Let me just do a simple one. Very simple one because of time. Okay, on top, let me color it so that you will appreciate what has happened. Okay, I give you something like this. That's for the interactive extrude tools. Then before I I just want to finish everything I want to do about these tools in one video. Finish it in just this video. I want to do one or two things again with shapes first, so that I don't forget. There are so many things we can do with shapes. I want to do something beautiful. Remember controls. Plus sign takes you, plus sign gives you a new object, a copied object. The plus, copy this. I may select the two of them. Holding shift key makes you select the two. I duplicated the two at a time. That gives me something good. Alright, I have something like this. There are so many things we can do here. Under arrange, if you say group, all of them become one object. Now they have become one object. I group them. All of them have become one object. I can also say ungroup. They have become separate objects. Okay? That's one thing you can do here. Beautiful things you can do with arrange. You can choose to combine. When you combine, they become one object. Okay? You can as well arrange. Then shaping. Okay, but let me undo the combine. Alright, under arrange, I'll say shape. Okay, if I combine, I can also break apart. Combine. I can break apart. Okay, then under shaping, we're going to see some wonderful things. I say back minus front. Let's see what that gives us. Back minus front. So, meaning that this guy was on top of all. That's why it gave us this. Then, other beautiful things that you can do here. You can do front minus back. So what he gave us, all the front. Let's cut this off. What a good shape. Another shaping, sorry, let me select. Another arrangement we can do under shaping. You can say simplify. It gives you something like this. Undo it. Also, intersect. Okay, let me use trim. See what trim does. It has trimmed one part of it. Okay, one. The beautiful thing I want to now do, this final one. Weld. So what weld gave to you? You can see what I'll do. Something you will very appreciate with the use of weld. Let me work with this circle we already have. Let me draw something like a. It will tell me where we're going to now. Okay, I duplicate it. Select my pick tool. I duplicate it. Haven't duplicated it. I want to. If I double click, it turns to curve. I can rotate. Okay. I can also duplicate again and rotate it again. Except another one, I duplicate another one, I rotate again, duplicate another one and rotate. I duplicate another one and rotate. I duplicate you and rotate you. I duplicate it. So first of all, you have to double click to, so you have the rotate symbol. I duplicated another one. I rotate this way. Okay, I may duplicate this one. Duplicate and rotate. Alright, that looks like wheels. That's better, but that's not where we're going to. Let me now select all these objects together and go to arrange, shipping. Let me say world. Wow, that looks like what you see in NMPC logo. That looks like what you see in NMPC logo. Welded it. I have a new shape out of all that I just did. There are so much great things you can do with CorelDRAW. You can weld, and you can I can also undo it, and still the other arrange effect you can take. You can say trim. See what trim gave. Then let me have 2 circles. 2 circles. I duplicate. I have something like this. Alright, let me come here, arrange, shape. If I say weld, see what I have. Okay, arrange, shaping, say trim, one cuts the other. You can see I've gotten a moon shape. Okay, again arrange, shaping, trim. Okay, that's trim. I've done weld. Intersect. You will see what has happened. You will see what has happened now. I have this shape. I have this shape. I have their intersect. If it was between a circle and a square, something like this, and I say intersect. So sorry, this I can't do it with this guy because it's not just an ordinary object. Let me have another square. Arrange, shaping, say intersect. Yeah. So what came out of that? So there are several things you will do with these guys. Then coming here, we'll have the fill colors. Fill with solid color. You choose the color of your choice. Color of your choice. Airbrush, whichever one. Say OK. It fills the object. That's under fill color. Fill color again. Come here. Have what we call postscript fill. Different. I want to fill it with bricks. Say bricks. Okay. Preview. So what it will look like. What it will look like. It will look like birds, bricks, this. Say OK. It fills this. Okay, can also fill with multicolors. How do you want it to appear? I want it to be radial. Okay, between from green to maybe yellow. Have something like that, and say okay, I have something like this. Then for this man, let me just use this. We have a interactive mesh that allows you to redraw your shape. Allows you to redraw your shape. Okay. Then finally, I'll use the fill. Fountain, try to select an object. Let me select another object. It's a fountain, let me just select. I have two colors. I can select from white to white, from white to green. How do you want it? Thickness, the separation. You want it to be conical, you do this. You want it to be linear, you do this. You want it to be square, do it depending. So these are some things you can actually do with CorelDRAW. In designing, practice is actually the key thing. All I just did is to show you how different tools and what they do, how they can be used. And I can tell you that I have not really exhausted everything you can do with CorelDRAW, but the time is fast spent. I think I should stop at this point. So install CorelDRAW on your system, get a material, a design of your choice, and see what you can do with it. See what you can do with it. See what you can do with it. You can also import image when you want to, because I think I'm not showing you that. Maybe import image. Is how to import image. Okay, I think I may have to do a further video on this so that the time will not be quite too long. The time appears to have taken quite a long time. So thank you so much. Practice this makes perfect. Install CorelDRAW in your system and start laying your hands. By the time you have a particular thing you want to design, it will give you room to be able to use these tools to achieve whatever you have seen on the design you intend to make. Thank you so much, and God bless you.